dinner is served. Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic? Yes, Master. Forgive me, Master. Please. Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio. Paradelphia, because what if it's all true?
Hey guys, dating life going pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies. Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic.
Welcome back, everyone. It's that time of the week to take it deep. And, yeah, it is that time. And guess what? The weather blows outside. If it seems like there's a ghost behind me or I'm glowing, it's because my camera at home just likes to adjust automatically. It may be possessed. I don't know. Whatever. This is what we got to do. We decided to play it safe tonight and not play it toxic. You know, the opposite. That's the opposite of how it's said, right, Mike?
That is, in fact, the opposite. we're playing it safe tonight because it is shitty as hell outside here in the South Jersey and Central Jersey area. And
it's shitty everywhere. Did you see that giant pileup in Texas?
I seen the giant pileup. I seen that people are sleeping in their cars because their power is out, because their heat is out. Just it's a mess. And Texas just basically got crippled by the simple fact that snow fell on the ground and ice fell on the ground. It's ridiculous. I mean, we've had ice storms in the Philly, Jersey areas, snow that's gone like 24 feet.
We haven't really had an epic one since like the middle of the 90s, the last one I remember.
I remember that one, but I don't think we got like crippled that bad from it.
I remember power being shut off, and I was in an apartment with my dad because they had to ration power because the Delaware River was frozen. Like, it had something to do with that. I can't remember exactly, but you know, I mean, wow. I saw that that pile up. Did you see that? Did you see the massive pile up?
Did you see the actual video of somebody who was driving past it that got the actual angle of like the tractor trailers crashing, and it was insanity. Yep. Let me see if I can find. I can find the video.
Yeah, find it. I was looking for it too. I mean, the guy was watching it, and you're just so. I don't know if it's in this part of Texas, but I know certain parts of Texas have highways that the mileage, the speed limit is 80. So if you're going 80 and you're on ice, you're fucked. I don't know what else to say.
I think this is.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna explain why I have a lisp in a second. For anybody who's listening to the podcast version, is Mike have a lisp? Yes, I do, and I'll explain that in a second.
This is why, folks, you don't stick your fingers in sockets because you get electrocuted and get a lisp.
So the one good thing about the video, so we have it up right now, and if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this on podcast version, just go over to YouTube real fast and kind of Google YouTube Texas pile up. And,
Mike will send me that link and I'll put it on the page. With the Godfrey.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Now, this is not the news footage. This is actually a bystander footage, and you're watching.
Well, it looks like the FedEx truck already crashed. Oh, there's another one. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ!
Wait, I'll go back. So you want to see the? Oh, Jesus! Oh my! It's horrific to watch and to know how devastating it is. I mean, thank goodness, at least for the video for the viewers, that
we're gonna give Mike a break. So what Mike is trying to tell you is
there's a medium there.
Oh, man.
Give Mike's tongue a break.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope everybody's okay, and I know people died, so, I'm not making fun of them, but, man, I'm just trying to show you guys, so after seeing this, I was like, I might play it a little cautious tonight, even though it was not nearly as bad, and we're more well prepared for stuff like that in this region, but, also, they weren't well prepared for it. I'm pretty sure they didn't have a lot of salt out. They didn't put brine down because they're not used to getting stuff like that. That brings into question, is it a once-in-a-lifetime event? Is it global warming? We won't get on that debate here. We're not trying to get apolitical. But I do know a lot of power is out because that state was told to modernize their grid for such events at least a couple years ago.
Right.
And they privatized it and decided not to.
But in terms of that
crash,
therefore
it wasn't modernized.
But in terms of the crash we just saw, like here in Jersey and the Philly area, like the stuff that fell tonight, it literally was hail, sleet and hail this morning, covered by snow, more sleet and hail, more snow. And it fell very rapidly. So to be out in it was really scary. And it was one of the reasons why I showed up at work, barely got there, and then just looked at everybody at work and I was like, you're all crazy. I'm not staying here for this. I'm not trying to drive home on the highway after it's been compacted over hours. So it was really bad. I think you made the right choice, even though I did call you a wuss.
Yeah. Well, I was afraid you might give me a tongue lashing with that lisp.
So, all right, let's go over the lisp.
It's heavy.
2 days. It's actually bothering me more than I'm talking more. I've just realized over the last couple of days I haven't talked as much as I do during a show. But so 2 days ago I went and got the Invisalign. So you can't see it, but I've got Invisalign on my top and bottom teeth.
But you can hear it.
Yes, you can definitely hear it. Because my teeth, since I was a kid, the dentists that were working on me called my teeth overcrowded. So I don't know how your mouth and your teeth become overcrowded, but they're overcrowded in the front center where they're just kind of mushed together. My teeth are the mush of the week.
Could be. They're a candidate.
So I got these,
which will be happening later on. Mush of the week, cuck of the week.
Yeah.
We got some other great news for you. I don't know if we have phone lines today. I'm not sure. We don't have phone lines, right, Mike?
I did not set them up, but I mean, I can put your beautiful face.
If you want to call in and you have
something
to say, drop a comment or send me a text, and then we'll set them up for you. But until then, you can drop a comment. And we got a lot to talk about today. We're moving into a new studio, as you can see, but it's been delayed. It was supposed to be my first show in a new studio, but it's been delayed. So what can you do?
There you go. I'll let everybody see
because
a little bit behind me. A little bit behind me of the new studio. You get to actually see the control room, which is where I'm sitting right now. It has not been officially announced on the Toxic Radio or Toxic Entertainment page, but yeah, we are in a new high-tech studio. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, so GameStop saga continues.
Jesus, really?
Yes. Well, they had the guy testify in front of Congress today. Roaring Kitty was his name, I believe, on Reddit, and they had him testify. So we're gonna play a minute clip. Did you get that, Mike? The first minute.
Let me find. You got it right here. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure.
Yeah,
we
but
have the audio,
he testified, and I just thought it was interesting that they had this guy testifying, and it's kind of funny because the testifying at Congress you're used to seeing pre-COVID is a big room with a bunch of people. Now they're all on video calls just like us.
And
so the guy's sitting in a gamer chair, at home, and you'll see.
He's got a gamer chair, and behind him, just to paint the picture for people at home listening, he has the cat behind him that says, hang in there. The little kitty that's kind of holding for dear life with a little red bandana hung on there. I'm sure that has some kind of significance. And I believe this guy likes red. I just want to say that.
Yeah. So we've been following this story because it's affected what you call the retail investor. A retail investor would be someone who's doing it as a hobby, trying to make a couple $100 here or there. And, there's a lot of contempt, in my opinion, and a lot of analysts' opinion, and including billionaires, Mark Cuban and people of that have contempt for the retail investor. And I have him play the first minute, and he wrote an open letter, and I'm going to read it after that.
It is true that my investment in that company multiplied in value many times.
It'll be up any second, I swear,
For
guys.
that, I feel enormously fortunate. I also believe the current price of the shares demonstrates that I've been right about the company. A few things I am not. I am not a cat. I am not an institutional investor, nor am I a hedge fund. I do not have clients, and I do not provide personalized investment advice for fees or commissions. I'm just an individual whose investment in GameStop and posts on social media were based upon my own research and analysis. I grew up in Brockton, Massachusetts. My family was not wealthy. My father was a truck driver and my mom a registered nurse. I was one of 3 kids and the first in my family to earn a 4-year college degree when I graduated from Stonehill College in 2009. That was not a good time to be looking for a job. From 2010 to 2017, I worked at a few startup companies, but there were significant periods when I was unemployed. I took an interest in the stock market, and even though I had very little money, I used those times to educate myself and learn more about investing. In April 2019, after nearly 2 years unemployed.
All right. So I want to just yell that this guy is a nerd.
Well, I love that he said, "I am not a cat."
Why? Yeah. What's his
Roaring Kitty is his name. So is his name, I guess, on Reddit. Or so I just think it's hilarious because
what's
he's
his
like, "I'm not a cat."
What's his thing with cats? I don't. Is it the only pussy he can get?
I don't know. I thought it was going to start out like Dr. Seuss. I'm not. How does that line go?
I am not a cat. I am not a hat. I am not a cat and a hat.
so you know, an open letter to CNBC, and this was the Wall Street Bets administrator from Reddit, and it reads like this: before you spend another day, and this is to CNBC, hosting your shill hedge fund buddies to come on the air and demonize Wall Street Bets, I hope you read this. Your contempt for the retail investor, your audience, is palatable. Palpable, just in case you couldn't understand it through my accent. I sound like Mike right now. And if you don't get it together, you'll lose an entire new generation of investors. I keep thinking about these funds that are short GME, which is GameStop, like your boys at Melvin Capital, your coverage of this subreddit, and I'm getting madder and madder. These funds can manipulate the market via your network, and if they screw up big because they don't even know the basics of portfolio risk 101 and using position sizing, they just get a bailout from their billionaire friends at Citadel. Then they have the nerve to turn us into public enemy number 1 just because we believe in an underdog company getting a second chance. We don't have billionaires to bail us out when we mess up our portfolio risk and a position goes against us. We can't go on TV and make attempts to manipulate millions to take our side of the trade. If we mess up as bad as they did, we're wiped out. We have to start from the scratch and are back to giving hand jobs. I love, I'll share this article. They crossed out hand jobs with a red X. Hand jobs behind the dumpster at Wendy's. That's literally what he said in the open letter.
Shout out to Wendy's.
Yeah, and he says, seriously, motherfuck these people. I sincerely hope they suffer. We want to see the lost porn.
Wow.
Not lost porn, lost porn. And he's pissed, and he should be. And I'm on the side of these guys because, you know, if you really, I'm not a stock expert, but, you know, there's some basic things you need to understand. And I'll just give you an example of a shorted stock. They've been shorting Tesla for months, which is why Elon Musk has a hard on for the market. And they've been wrong over and over again because people have faith in the company. And that's kind of how the stock market runs. You know, if they end up not turning a profit, you know, then that would be another discussion after quarterly results. But as I said before, he was betting on the long, and the short is a risky investment. So I'm bringing this up because they called this kid in. They call him a kid because he's a young individual. Really, he's not a kid, but younger than me. And let me tell you something. They are having him testify before Congress, and they brought other people in. But this just shows you how stupid it is. I can't believe in the first minute he goes, I am not a cat. But, you know, he was pretty clear, pretty concise. It's a 5-minute interview.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he started it off that way. Only because you pointed out he's got a gamer chair. His chair and his microphone match colors, so we know that he's a nerd. From the door, you look at him with his long hair. You know he's weird. Which again, weird to me is not bad. I have nothing wrong with weird. But own your weirdness. The dude's weird. It's fine.
Yeah,
own that
I
shit.
apologize. If people are looking up my nostrils, I have 2 monitors in front of me, and I'm just not used to the setup.
This is one
So
hell
I
of a
keep
show.
looking up, and I got one right here. So I mean to do this, not this, but you bear with me.
I'm spitting all over my microphone. You've got your nostrils flared out. This is like a cocaine party.
Mike feels like he's in band camp again in the back room.
40 years old with braces.
Yeah. So, yeah, just thought that's an honorable mention. The GameStop testimony going on. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, kind of there are cucks of the week, and it's kind of an honorable mention, but we're going to go a cuck of the week here on this one. Maybe Teddy Ballcane might be coming up the bat again in mush of the week, but Subway is in a lawsuit right now and a controversy. Have you heard about this?
No, with who? With Adam Sandler?
No.
I don't know why that came into my head.
Yeah, because there was
the Happy Gilmore thing went down.
Anniversary.
And in Happy Gilmore, he was the spokesperson for Subway.
And the anniversary, the 25th anniversary just passed.
That's how my mind works. Sorry, continue.
Subliminal messaging. So, Inside Edition DNA test, if this is on hypebeast.com, test if Subway's tuna sub actually has tuna in it. That's right, folks. You heard me correct. Despite Subway denying claims that its tuna sub does not contain tuna or have any ingredient that constitutes tuna, many are still wondering if there is a legitimacy in the lawsuit the chain is now facing. So I was confused by this, right? Like, Subway denying claims that its tuna sub does not contain tuna. So basically, Subway is selling you shit again that's not there. Didn't they have rubber in the bread and have a child molester as their spokesman? I mean, we'll never get a sponsorship from them now, but
I never heard of the first one, but I know the second one. But when I heard this story, which was a couple months ago, they said 100% that it was real. This is what I heard. I heard this on local news, that they were offering 15% off the price of one of the company's tuna footlong sandwiches with the promo code It's Real. Subway is promoting its tuna salad as 100% tuna mixed with mayo, and in pop-up ads on the website and on social media, keep fishing, folks. We'll keep serving 100% wild-caught tuna. So this was a while back that they said this, and now it's popping up again?
Yeah, it's this is February 12th, 2021. It's dated, but looking to get to the bottom of the allegations, Inside Edition launched its own investigation into the claims 2 California customers took to the U.S. District Court for Northern District of California. The news magazine's outlets investigate the unit acquired samples from tuna salads from the 3 locations in New York for advanced DNA testing. Inside Edition also spoke to employees about the tuna controversy, getting a look at the actual packaging of Subway's tuna, where the ingredients read tuna, water, and salt. I believe there's more in there than that. But the 3 tuna samples were sent to Applied Food Technologies in Florida, a lab that specializes in conducting DNA testing of fish. Leanne Applewhite, who runs Applied Food Technologies, noted that we confirmed that the tuna was definitely in all 3 samples received. The results defy the lawsuit launched against Subway and echoed statement from Subway spokesperson. The tuna our franchises serve to their guests every day is 100% real cooked tuna, and there is simply no truth to allegations in the complaint filed in a California court. Here's the thing about that, though. Did they not get caught putting rubber in their bread? Did you ever hear that?
I had never heard that. Never heard that. Why?
Cheaper to make.
But I mean, here's my thing.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
So this is what they had in there. Footlong fans breathed a sigh of relief at the beginning of February when sandwich chain Subway announced that it was removing, it's called azoid carbamide, a chemical used in shoe rubber and yoga mats, from its bread. Okay.
Wow.
Here's the thing. Yeah, this is on HuffPost.com. Though the World Health Organization has said the chemical is safe for human consumption, some studies have suggested it could be linked with asthma and skin and respiratory problems. And when the chemical is baked, I got to start looking at the bottom one. When a chemical is baked, it forms another chemical that has been linked to cancer in animal studies. CBS News pointed out. A series of popular petitions circulated by blogger Vanahari, and this is a while ago, as a bleaching agent, who runs the website foodbabe.com, have also argued that the case that its efficacy as a bleaching agent in bread just isn't worth the potential health hazards.
Wow.
Like, this is from 7 years ago, almost. So my thing is stories like that are going to, like the tuna one, are going to get legs because they broke people's trust before. I mean, it's right there.
So here's my question for you. Do you feel more comfortable eating Subway's tuna or Taco Bell's meat, which they've said is like 80% meat? I've got the other.
Now, when you say meat, are we talking about the beef or the steak?
The beef.
I always go for steak at Taco Bell.
This is their Taco Bell beef. The steak is the steak or the chicken is the safe choice. But for most people getting a burrito or a regular taco, they're getting the beef. Because in their beef,
I feel like if it looks like diarrhea before it comes in, I can't have it.
The other 12% of Taco Bell's beef is maltodextrin, treehouse, Tyrol yeast, modified cornstarch, soy, all these added extras, caramel color, cocoa powder, like all this and extra meat ingredients that are there to kind of beef up the beef. So you've got a choice: eating Subway, which you don't know if it's real tuna, or Taco Bell with the beef. With the beef, you don't get steak; you get the beef.
So is it what's in the beef though?
Exactly. What's in the beef?
Remember the Wendy's old lady who wears the beef?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I felt like that the other night. I got a large chili from there, and it felt like it felt like they should call it Billy because it shouldn't be chili. It should be Billi because it's all fucking beans and 2 pieces of like tiny ass fucking meat. You know what I mean? I hate that. Where is the beef? So I don't know.
I'm with
there's an FAQ on Taco Bell. It says it talks about what their beef is made of, and it says we use 100% USDA premium beef in our seasoned beef.
I'm with Genia. I've never eaten a Subway tuna sandwich either. I always go with the chicken or the cold cut trio or something to that effect. I know I've never gotten the tuna. I'm glad.
All right, but here's the thing. I'm not going to get the tuna there, and I stopped eating at Subway years ago when I found out they were using shoe rubber in their fucking bread. And they like to hire child molesters. Not that they know.
But they're not using shoe rubber. They're using an ingredient that is an ingredient also used when making shoe rubber.
But when it's heated, it can be known to cause cancer.
Well, again, truthfully,
I'm going to my local deli.
To play devil's advocate, almost anything that's enjoyable nowadays causes cancer in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, okay. Well, now we sound like boomers right now. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like, why don't we just go start licking toilet seats everywhere, right? Oh, someone already beat us to that. I mean,
they did.
Look at, yeah, don't you remember the guy that was COVID licking toilet seats, because he was trying, and then he ended up getting COVID? Remember we covered that? I
probably blocked that out of my brain. Just tried to forget it.
Yeah, one chick did it in an airplane, and then he decided to do it. Oh, God. Anyway, I mean, my thing is why do it's all about profit and greed. Like, why do you have to put that shit in the food? They removed it. It's not like this. They're like, oh, fuck, that's the secret ingredient. We can't make our tuna sandwich anymore. We're fucked.
Because it's fillers. It's all about making that dollar. It's all about making it a little bit beefier.
I learned that Parmesan cheese, I only buy real Parmesan cheese or Romano cheese because I learned like the craft ones, they allow a little bit of wood dust in there. And I'm like, ew, that's disgusting.
You start looking at what food factories allow or don't allow. The food industry allows food factories to have like a certain percentage of like rat piss and shit, like a certain percentage of that stuff because you just can't do it without it. So it's like you damn if you do, you damn if you don't.
Yeah. 100% of cancer patients have drunk water in their life.
Yes.
That's funny.
True. That is true.
Oh my god.
Well, I look at it this way: as long as it doesn't kill me, I'll eat it. As long as it doesn't make me sick, I'll eat it again.
Yeah, but you've put questionable things in your mouth, so I don't know if that's a good measuring stick.
That's the title of the show, folks.
Yeah, questionable things in your mouth. So the tuna is probably real, but for someone to throw that kind of shade at him, I'm not mad about it because guess what? You had a fucking rubber agent there. I'll give you another one. I don't really eat Philly pretzels that much. I'm sorry, folks, because they put formaldehyde in it, and I know there might be a certain acceptable number that you can have of formaldehyde in it, but when I read that formaldehyde is for, remember, formaldehyde's used on dead people too, right?
Yeah.
Right, Mike?
I mean,
right.
It's good for
so
them.
it's a coloring agent. Why do I give a fuck about what color the pretzel is?
I want to know, with all this stuff that we're talking about, where you're allowed a certain percentage of it to be able to be digested, how did they get to understand the percentage that is able to be digested? Like the scientists that are there figuring out the concoction to be able to beef up your tuna or your beef had to have gone over the top to be able to back off to say, nope, you're allowed 10%.
It's just crazy. I mean, in other countries, this isn't allowed. And when I say other, I mean developed countries. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. So, but here's some interesting news. Today just happened. NASA's Perseverance rover touches down on Mars.
Oh, shit.
Did you know? Yep.
I did not know that.
Landed on Mars at 15:55 Eastern Standard Time, military time, after almost 7 months traveling from Earth.
That's what I was about to ask you, how long it took. 7 months it took it to get there? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's NASA's most ambitious hunt for signs of life on Mars since the Viking missions in the 1970s. So it's the size of a car. It carries a suite of science instruments designed to detect signatures of fossil life if it's there.
Wow.
So, yeah. That's I think pretty interesting.
No,
so,
that's freaking bad. That's badass. I mean, we see the rover thing that's been on the moon for forever. Isn't that on the moon or is that somewhere else? The one that sends pictures back all the time. Is that on Mars?
I used to say space travel doesn't have a chance, but I think it does because I'm going to tell you why. If you say to someone, "Hey, you can go to Mars and not wear a mask, and you can do regular shit," yeah, people are going to be like, "Yeah, I'm going to Mars to go watch a movie." Huh? Like, it'll take you 7 months to get there. It's going to change everything. We'll be dead by the time that happens.
Matt, Godfrey, they say to you that we have the ability to colonate Mars or any other planet. We've gone up there. We've built the infrastructure. You can have your own little pod and all this other stuff, and you have the funds to go there. Do you go?
I don't know. I don't think I would.
Why wouldn't you?
I saw Total Recall. That's why, with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
so the sheer fear.
So unless the chick with the third nipple's up there, I'm not going.
So the sheer fear that somebody made a miscalculation or somebody up there intends to do wrong and just screw everybody up. That's why you won't go.
Yeah, I'll let other people be the guinea pig. Yep, absolutely.
It's basically like the vaccine going on right now with a lot of people just standing there with their arms folded going,
I can't have
I'll let these people go first.
Yeah, I can't have it, but and that is funny you bring that up, though. I hear a lot of people say to me, thousands of people have died from taking a vaccine, and that's not true. It's just not true. Yeah, sounds like Matt needs to raise his own food and butcher his own cattle, never to go to a restaurant again. To that, I say, you can go F yourself because I will go buy grass-fed meat from stores which I know is grass-fed. That's why I don't listen. I don't go to a ShopRite. If it's your flavor, that's fine because if you look at certain meats, they won't tell you where it came from. I like to know where my meat came from. I'm just saying. That's me. So I am picky about my meat and my meat.
I would like to have that clip isolated.
I'm pretty sure that could happen. So I'm just saying, I mean, I like to know, and I'm picky about it. I don't eat a ton of meat, but I love a steak. I love all that stuff is delicious. And, I'll pay a little bit extra for a better cut of meat.
If you had land, would you be one of those guys like farmer Godfrey out there just, growing your own fruits and vegetables and your own peppers and everything, would you be
You might
that
have
guy?
a little garden and a couple chickens for some eggs, but I'm not grazing any fucking cattle. I'll let a butcher do that.
But you would go as far as the chickens. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You would
Yeah,
go
why
as far-
not?
So you would have a decent sized garden. You would be growing a lot.
I would
of
even
your own
consider
stuff.
like a fish farm. I could say like a little fish pond where you can, just in case shit goes haywire.
Hmm. Would you do one of those filtration systems where you filter out your own pee so that it becomes drinkable water again, so you know that it's pure?
Oh man, I don't know. I hope we don't ever get to that point. I don't want to be doing that. Oh Jesus.
I mean, it's filtered. You know
Yeah.
that it's natural. You know it doesn't have anything else in it.
Yeah, so the Mars thing is pretty cool, right? I mean, there's a lake that they discovered years ago, So I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting. Honorable mention there.
Well, the
had
Mars,
to throw that in there.
they have found out that it is sustainable for molecules of water or something to that effect. So at some point or somehow there could be life there. It's absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing for I think a lot of the human race just here and now and in the past and in the future is the hope that we do in our lifetime get to find out the answer to the question of do aliens exist and what are they? I mean, that's what this is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I think just maybe find a new real estate. Who knows what people are thinking? But there's a lot of investment in going and being able to get up there as like a consumer. I mean, you got SpaceX. I mean, there's companies out there, so it's being invested in. Who knows what you find out there? Maybe you find a new resource, a new type of gold, a new type of metal. They're up there for a reason, and I firmly believe a lot of these people are up there for a reason that we don't know about. They're not going to tell us the full motivation for it.
Absolutely not. Top secret, clearance only, all that bullshit.
Yeah, people probably feel like they're on Mars in Dallas because you got bursting pipes because they're too cold. Because up here we're like, if you don't want your pipes to burst, you might want to do something. I believe you not turn your water off, but run some hot water or what did they tell you to do? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, but I have no idea what they actually say to do. That's beyond me. I've lived the apartment life for the longest time, so if anything goes wrong, I just yell at them to go fucking fix it.
Yeah. Well, the freeze drill. So basically, it is you run the water to protect the pipes. But why does that work? So there's a reason why. People probably aren't used to doing that down there. So that didn't happen. Pipes bursted. It's just calamity down there. I hope these regular people get through it. These everyday people. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about that again because our mush of the week is Teddy Ballgame. And Teddy Ballgame means Ted Cruz. He shows up on my mush or cuck of the week list a lot. But here's the thing about Teddy. No one likes him. Republicans don't like him. Democrats don't like him. People that don't vote don't like Ted Cruz. His daughter doesn't like him. Everybody doesn't like Ted Cruz. Trump doesn't like Ted Cruz. No one likes Ted Cruz. So he's a senator in Texas. And today, he's a hardline immigration guy, which is fine, whatever. And where was he going? He was leaving Texas in the Houston airport to go to Mexico. I mean, how rich does that get? Ted Cruz insists he's just being a good dad, taking his girls to Cancun, but leaves after one night, long enough to get blistered. Back in Houston in under 24 hours he was. So people were saying to me when I was posting about this, well, he's a senator. What could he possibly do? That's not his job, blah, blah, blah. That's the people making excuses for it. And then everybody wants to do the move that they always do where they want to bring up something else. Well, what about Joe Biden? Well, let's talk about him as a separate douchebag, because he is. And let's talk about the one that's on the subject. Okay, so this douchebag that is the mush of the week is Cruz. Why is he a mush? Because he thought he could stroll through the Houston airport, which is one of the biggest airports in the country, and not get noticed by everybody on the plane going to Mexico. So he's a mush. Now, people ask, what can he be doing? Well, I'll give you an example. Okay? He could be trying to get federal funding. So in crises like this, members of Congress play a critical role, senators, etc. And he should be on the phone with federal agencies, not on a trip to Mexico. It's bad optics. Is he doing something illegal? No. But you definitely look like a shill. You know, this guy switches. He flip flops more than Flipper. You know what I mean? And it cracks me up because he took his daughters there and he went to Cancun, which is what? Vacation spot, right? What do you think about that, Mike? Do you think that was a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea right now with everything going on, with the fact that we just got we still have the pandemic going on. There's still all this stuff going on with stimulus and bills to be passed and all this other stuff. It just looks bad to go on vacation.
If he wants to go.
When people are
well, I don't think the Senate's in session right now. But if he wants to go, that's fine. He can make that choice. He's a free man. But, you know, he has to realize what kind of bad optics that is. I mean, it just looks so shitty. And I don't care if this was a Democrat or a Republican. I mean, I know when the hurricane happened in Jersey, Chris Christie, he's a Republican. He was cracking heads. Now, he was the governor, not a senator. But you could definitely get involved. I just think it's funny. And there's me.
Chris Christie was also the one who shut down the beaches and then decided to go out on his private beach.
Well, yeah, he was doing his best beach whale impression. I mean, I just
his best
that was
beach
funny
whale impression.
yeah, that's what he was doing, and you know, he's a big guy. So,
but no, I don't like. I've never liked Ted Cruz. He's probably eating Subway.
Nobody likes this guy.
Yeah, who in a conversation goes, you know who I like? That Ted Cruz. I like that guy.
If Ted is one thing, he's a uniting force of hatred. Everybody dislikes him. Trump dislikes him. Like, everybody dislikes him.
Trump disliked him until he jumped on the Trump train towards the end.
Yeah, but then he jumped off the Trump train because
real fast.
And then he's like, so he is what he is. Trump was right not to like him at first, and he was
a politician. I mean, he doesn't give a shit.
But he's a cuck. I mean, he's not our cuck of the week, but he's a cuck because he's always waiting to take the favorable side. Like I said, if this was a Democrat, I'd be saying the same thing because it's bad optics. Yeah, let me go to Cancun with my daughters, but at least he flew. I wonder if he even flew coach. I'm pretty sure he flew first class, but you know what? Good for him. Good for you, Teddy Ballgame.
He's got to. What do you expect? You expect him to sit in the back? What's wrong with you?
I mean, I bet you he's one of those dudes that would put his kids in coach and him in first class.
Oh,
I bet.
That's messed up. That is messed up.
I mean, I kind of see a picture here where there's a partition that looks like it's going to coach, and then I see him in first. I don't know. Teddy Ballgame, what were you doing? So he is our mush of the week. And that's a safe one because he's a 3-time winner, mush of the week. He's been a cuck of the week. But no one likes this guy. I don't care who you are.
What do you get if you get to? What do you get if you get to the 4th or the 5th? Is there anything?
I don't know, man. He's like the Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron mush and cuck of the week. I don't know. We're gonna have to send him an award or something. Like like YouTube sends that award. We'll send like a golden picture of a cuck with his face on it or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So, yeah, so we have. Rush Limbaugh passed, unfortunately. I don't want to dance on a man's grave, but I thought that was interesting because he is a very he's a firebrand when he was passing, and he passed from cancer, and I believe cigarettes got him, but he quit a while ago.
I don't fault him for anything. You know why? Because me and you, we understand.
When you say anything,
listen to me. Because he's a broadcaster. He's an entertainer. He's somebody who lives and dies by his ratings. So he found his niche. He found what people enjoyed and rode that train till the end.
But,
he's no different than Tucker.
Discussion here.
He's no different than Tucker Carlson or all those guys. Those guys, do I think they 100% believe everything they say? Fuck no. They are in media. No. They have found
But is it your responsibility to tell people?
But they're in the entertainment section of media. You see what I'm saying?
But Howard Stern could be an entertainer, and he's kidding. But why these guys take on a different life form, and there's people like this on the left too. But there's people, these guys take a life form of their own. And, when you push certain things, do you not bear responsibility when you wield a certain power and you had that many listeners?
Yes, but
I don't know.
Howard Stern wielded that power. Opie and Anthony wielded that power. Anybody who has a huge audience wields that power. And yes, you could say that Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony, Preston Steve, all these guys, it's known that these guys are joking, but not all the time. And sometimes they say things or do things that do have an impact on people in a certain way. Now, I truthfully believe that some people like Rush Limbaugh, people like Tucker Carlson, people like this, what they did is they found their niche. Their niche got them rich. And now, I'm not going to say that again, now these individuals have to keep riding that train, riding that wave, because that's what their audience wants. And the more the audience...
Well, let me ask you this.
The more the audience feeds into
that,
them. Go ahead.
If you're going to dabble in that, and this is the reason why I bring it up, and you get a lot of hate when you pass, and I'm not going to dance on the guy's grave, is it self-inflicted?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
And that's why I don't feel sorry for him.
But it's self-inflicted by those who can't see past what he portrayed rather than who he was. He was.
Yeah, but you mislead all people. Aren't going to listen to him unless they believe in this guy. I mean, my dad used to listen to this guy all the time growing up.
He was a legendary broadcaster. He was a broadcaster who knew the business and understood what was expected of him so much that he withstood all that time. And
what he was before he was a political broadcaster? He wanted to be. He was a failed sports broadcaster.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I did not know that, but I'm not surprised. He failed at one genre and said, "Okay, well, it's like wrestling to an extent. Wrestling, WWE, they say take who you are, take your personality, and turn it up a notch. Turn it up a notch." So what he did, because he's an entertainer, a broadcaster, yes, he was in a broadcast capacity that could influence people and their decision-making and the public perception of politics, but at the same token, he turned it up. You yourself as a broadcaster are your own personality, but you try and turn it up a notch. Me, I turn it up. I become Toxic Mike. So I look at him as a broadcaster who found the niche that got him popular, turn that dial up a little bit, because you have to entertain. You have to go over the top. You have to say stuff that keeps people's attention. And he did. Whether or not you agreed with what he said, there was a large enough number of people that sat on his every word.
He was on ESPN in 2003, and he got let go because he said, and I quote, "Limbaugh suggested that quarterback Donovan McNabb was overrated because of his skin color." I mean, woo! And, that's not where he failed at sports broadcasting. It was long before that.
He was the shock jock of politics. That's what he was. He was the shock jock of politics.
I'll give you that. Well, of conservative politics.
Now, to a degree, I believe that it kind of becomes like the movie The Prestige. Once you live that character for a certain amount of time, you start to become that character.
But that's the thing. I think it's not healthy to do that. You should separate that from reality and not. Like Alex Jones is a perfect example. He's way over the top. He makes Rush Limbaugh, in my mind, look normal.
But here's the problem. Me, Toxic Mike, is a character. You, the Godfrey, is a character that we have fun with on air. If you become super pot, Steve-O. I'm going to go with Steve-O because that's one that I think me and you can relate to. He was a party animal.
Is he a character? Or is he...
No, but Steve-O's character on Jackass and in TV was this over-the-top alcohol-driven cocaine, drugs, everything. He couldn't go anywhere in public without people wanting him to be that character, to be that insane person. And he ended up having to actually do that and you blurred the lines between the two where you had to become sober.
Well, Debbie Francolino, this wise woman that's on here, I have to say she's pretty smart. She says, Michael, did you know him? He preached lies. That was not entertaining. It was propaganda. And that Michael J. Fox was faking his illness. He did say that. I remember that. And how dare he talk about Michael J. Fox, that son of a bitch. I forgot about that. Thank you, Debbie, for reminding me of that.
The problem with shock jocks, the problem with people that put that type of content out there, is that there are people that are going to believe it. There are people that are going to hang on your every word, and even though you might not believe it yourself as a broadcaster,
I get
they're going to
but
believe it.
I feel like if you're going to be there, you have a personal responsibility to know where that line is. I think Opie and Anthony is a perfect example where they went over the line. You were a bigger fan of them than I was, but I did listen to them. Is when they had the people. I don't know. Was it they had someone dress up like a Nazi and go to a synagogue, or was it have sex in a confessional?
It was a stunt called Sex for Sam. It was a stunt.
Tom Green did the synagogue stunt. That's who I'm getting mixed up.
It was an event. It was a stunt. That the game that they played was Sex for Sam, and you went around New York City having sex in different areas, and you got points for different areas. And if you came back to the studio and you had the most points, you and your partner, you won the contest. This was a contest that was a sponsored contest by Sam Adams. It was a contest that was approved by corporate. It was a contest where they had actual comedians and celebrities who were spotters for the couples. It was a contest that was approved across the board. It just they went too far in the eyes of the public. But then, where is too far? Who has the line that says that things are too far?
The line is gray, especially in terrestrial radio, because that was terrestrial radio.
But again, is it too okay? So we're talking about entertainment. Too far, the line is drawn in corporate America. The line is drawn by the corporation, by the company. They say this is the line that you cannot cross. And they give you
the FCC trying to enforce that line too.
No. But what I'm going to say is the FCC enforces a certain line. But okay, so then you don't cross that line. Well, then the general public enforces their own line. But who is saying that line? Comedians have a way further line. Like it's such a gray area to say you crossed the line. Well, whose line did they cross? They crossed your line. Maybe they didn't cross my line. And as long as they didn't break the law or cross over regulations within their industry.
If you don't want to listen to it, you got to tune out. But the thing about Rush Limbaugh and entertainers like him, and I'll say Al Franken on the left, just to give an equivalent. I feel like when you knowingly push a falsehood, that's taking the low-hanging fruit. I just have always felt that way. And because I think it's easier to be that guy that trolls people, that you do stuff that you know is going to piss people off. And I feel like in the last 5 or 6 years, we've had that.
Do you
increase.
Do you think real fast? I'm staring at the chat room and I'm reading this Michael J. Fox faking his illness again. Do you think that if Rush Limbaugh, after he said that, the day after or a week later, Michael J. Fox went into his studio and sat down and looked him in the eye, do you think he would still say to his face, "You're faking your illness"? Or do you think he said it for shock value?
I think he would stick to his guns because of his audience.
So he would, because of his audience, not because he believed it. Because obviously Michael J. Fox
that's the thing. Like, well, you said yourself, they become the character. So when do they, if you cross that gray line, when do you know that you're not that character anymore? It's like, does it go so far?
I think that's the moment. I think when the person you have put out there, because we've seen it happen with Stern, we've seen it happen with Opie and Anthony.
I'll give you a case in point with Alex Jones.
Okay.
Right? He was pushing the idea that the Sandy Hook shootings were fake. Okay. Uh-huh. He ended up having to go to court over it. And then I'm not sure if he went to court over that or he ended up in a divorce proceeding. And in a divorce proceeding, he had to admit that's a character he plays.
Yeah.
It's now, so I think you're right. But my point is, is it manipulation or is it entertaining at a certain point when you know that you have crowds out there that are taking it serious? Now, for example, the Sandy Hook thing, you had people that were literally stalking these poor families with these victims and harassing them based off this guy's entertainment. I mean, as an entertainer, does it become about entertaining people and playing a character, or is it about greed? Because at that point, you're making money off of it, or you're gaining in some way. Is it, there's got to be an ethical piece there. And to me, if you have gone that far in a character, you have become null and void of empathy.
There's got to be an ethical piece there. I agree with you with the ethical piece, but also some of the blame and some of the responsibility also lies with the quote audience members that are fans that are actually listening to a radio show or watching a television show and then leave their house to go physically to another person's residence or another person's workplace or wherever another person is to actually harass them because of something they saw on TV. Now, I know I wouldn't do it. I know you wouldn't do it. But that person who's doing that, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What do you get out of this? What is your expectation? What is the outcome that you expect from doing this? Mm-hmm. What is your end game? Because if you're just going there to yell and scream, okay,
I feel like
Opie and Anthony, what's your end game?
I feel like Opie and Anthony, we all know they're shock jocks, right? I feel like Rush Limbaugh tried to give the impression that he was not a shock jock of politics. We know better because we're in broadcasting, but those outside of it don't.
Right, it's the illusion. It's the illusion. I mean, we have individuals in this country who can't decipher. I'm just going to go with like Law and Order, SVU. Benson, the woman. They see her in public and they can't separate who she is on the television show from who she is in public. They watch movies where guys play rapists or child molesters, and they yell at them curse words in public because how dare you? We have individuals in this country that can't distinguish between entertainment and reality. I agree that certain outlets like Fox News, like MSNBC, like CNN, have an obligation as a network to not showcase these people without a disclaimer at some point. Because with Tucker Carlson, I know that I heard a story, and I don't know if this is absolutely true, but I heard this or read it on a news article, something to that degree.
I like Tucker, but he's a cherry-picking motherfucker.
That there was somebody who actually tried to sue Fox News over comments he made, and Fox News in a courtroom made the statement that how can you take him seriously? He's so over the top. He's so out of left field. We don't expect people to take him seriously. It's entertainment. So
But this is where we're. But the thing is this is where we're at in this country. So, for example, I had someone tell me that, and I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked. They're like, "Oh, well, I talked to him about possibly getting a vaccine later on, and and they're like, "Oh, you want to be careful. Thousands of people have died from that vaccine." And I'm like, "No, they haven't." And I'm looking at them dumbfounded. I'm like, "Why do you think that?" And I ask people what their source is, and they can't tell me, or it's a headline, they didn't read an article, and you fact check it with them, and they don't want to believe it because they don't want to they don't want to believe they were wrong and could think something like that, right? That thousands of deaths haven't happened because of the COVID vaccine. Just letting people know that, okay?
Uh-huh.
The more you know. Now, am I advocating that everybody should have to mandate it or have it as a mandate? No, but that's where these guys step into this stuff where it touches people personally. For example, I don't know if this was Tucker Carlson or someone else on Fox News. They were like, "Oh, see, wind power doesn't work. You look at Texas, blah, blah, blah." Okay, look, that's 20% of their energy supply, right? So they don't put those facts behind it, right? And they should have, I feel, if it's entertainment and it's not obvious, like a Saturday Night Live, maybe they should have to put a disclaimer up saying it's entertainment.
I'm with you on the disclaimer. I really am. It's kind of like wrestling. WWE used to be World Wrestling, WWF, World Wrestling Federation. And back then, they had something called kayfabe, which was hiding the fact that the business was a predetermined, orchestrated event. And, you used to have people waiting in the parking lot for for wrestlers to come out to want to stab them because they thought they did something horrific in the ring. And now it's entertainment. Now it's WWE, where everybody's kind of gets to peek behind the curtains and see that it is choreographed entertainment. Even though the guys are really getting hurt, they're trying to protect each other. I'm in that realm of the way of looking at it. You can suspend disbelief. You can watch these guys, but there should be some kind of disclaimer in terms of what you are watching is entertainment. I totally agree.
Yeah, because and here's the thing. And that brings me to my point. If you're going to go down that road as an entertainer, I believe, within reason, if people aren't set, I'm kind of neutral to it because I don't like to dance on anybody's graves. But there's some people that are like, I don't feel sorry for them. We reap what we sow. And if you're not kind to individuals, you're not empathetic. You know what I mean? If I was an entertainer who I am, and I said that about Michael J. Fox, I would feel horrible about it because I know that's real to Michael J. Fox. And I would say to my audience, listen, guys, I say stuff off the cuff. I'm trying to entertain you. I say inappropriate stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't want to make fun of a man that's going through Parkinson's. You know what I mean? But he'll never say that because to him, the character is more important than the efficacy of being a good human. You know what I mean? And that's what shocks me about certain people like that, because there are guys that are like that do play a character that I don't think would go that far.
I totally agree. There are individuals out there that play a character where they've created their own line in the sand. They've said, this is the line that I will not cross, and even if they do get to that line, will break character in that instance.
Yeah. So I just sent you a video. We're going to wrap it up real quick with a few other subjects. I'm going to have Mike pull up a video real quick that I sent him, and while he's doing that, I'm going to give you some weird facts. We're starting this. It hit its flat on its face last week, but we're going to give this segment another try. Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter is happening again, and Jake Paul is chiming in now. The video is down at the bottom. You'll see it, Mike. It's the Sun article I sent you. And it's gaining a lot of pop, and we might be involved with this fight later on. So we want to keep you abreast of the situation because we think it's going to be rather entertaining.
All right,
it's not official yet, though, right, Mike? That we would be involved with it, or is it? It's
as
possible?
of right now, talks with Damon have confirmed that Toxic Entertainment, Toxic Radio, in some way, shape, or form, will be involved in this. I've been in talks with Damon.
Hot diggity dog.
I've been in talks with Damon. He's been sending me media to kind of work with.
Does he know that Taking It Deep has been extensively covering this fight week after week?
I have not had a chance to discuss that with Damon just yet, but
I'm sending him a text right now. Hold on,
But I have been in talks with him. So is this the video? I think this is it right here.
Yeah. Hold off on. You can hold off on that video for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I play right now if you're ready. If you're ready,
I'm ready. Oh Jesus!
Yep.
Now my system's going haywire. Okay.
There's no such thing as celebrity.
Is it back?
No, there's not.
Lamar Odom is about to box.
Don't even talk about that. That's weak. That's fucking up the sport of boxing. He's fighting this little like. Let's not even talk about that. Yeah, but look. But I take it serious. I take it serious. I'm dedicated. I'm in Big Bear, California. I'm in Las Vegas sparring professionals 2-a-days for the past 3 years. Yes, I'm a celebrity who boxes, but it's like celebrity boxing isn't a thing. It's really just me and my brother doing
it. Yeah, so Logan Paul over here is saying, by the way, the Razor's back. That's an advertisement. Get out.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah. So here's the thing. Jake Paul does do some serious training. So he's calling out celebrity boxing. He's kind of calling out the Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter fight. And I looked at the article, and I did notice something about Aaron Carter. Why does he always look like he's taking a selfie for a Match.com profile? I mean, look at this picture.
Where are we? I see it. Wait.
The piano picture? I mean, come on. One? Are we showing this to the audience?
Yeah, I got it up right now.
He looks like he's taking a match doc. He's like, yeah, come at me, baby. I'm single.
That face tattoo.
And I could play the piano. Let me stroke your ivories.
He looks like he's skinny as fuck, but he's not like anorexic skinny anymore. So
no, he's
kudos.
But
to him.
he's he's talking about how much smaller he is, and Jake Paul's getting in there. Maybe we can have a contender fight. Now, Jake Paul knocked out Nate Robinson in a celebrity boxing outfit, a different one, and he says he's embarrassing the sport. But you fought Nate Robinson, my man. Okay, that's not a real boxer. Let me see you get in a ring with a real boxer, and you're not knocking him out. So Jake has a brother that I believe is an MMA or a boxer. He was training for real, and he knocked him out. He took advantage of an opportunity. But I want to see you in there with a real boxer before he starts talking this smack about the integrity of boxing. Give me a break. Because they even said it to him in that clip. Like, wait a minute, you fought Nate Robinson. I think he's splitting hairs here. Jake Paul. Mr. Let's get caught riding by the FBI in Arizona, looting a mall. Jake Paul. I just maybe Jake Paul needs to fight Aaron Carter. If I was Aaron Carter though, I think Jake Paul might knock him out though, to be honest. So I would like to see Jake Paul fight someone that can actually box. And
I'm looking forward to everything that's going to be going down. I've been hyped for this for a while, and it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And me and Godfrey can tell you, stay tuned to Toxic Radio Live on all social media platforms. We've got a ton to announce coming up, but also we will be letting you know in what capacity we will be involved with the fight in Atlantic City.
Someone's taking it deep on June 12th.
Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter.
Someone's taking it deep.
They are, trust me, and it'll be live streamed for sure.
Yep. So you'll hear from us there, but we'll come up with weird facts next week. We're gonna try to get this guy on because we're hitting our time limit right now. It's 7:00. Thank you for tuning in. Next week I'll be in studio. Unless we get another fucking blizzard again, which it seems like we're in. 2021 starting out real great. I mean, blizzards, COVID, yeah, you name it. Let's keep partying, right? I cannot wait to get out and feel some sun on my face. I'm not even one that hates cold weather or snow, but it feels like it's starting out to be one of these winters, like one we had, 6 years ago, where it was just constant snow, a foot, 2 inches, 3 inches, a foot, 2 inches, and then it piles up, and you have snow mountains in the Kohl's parking lot until June. So, yep, that's all I know. So thanks for listening, guys. Remember, sharing is caring. Tell your friends about the podcast. That means a lot to us. If you subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcast, whatever your favorite podcasting platform is, look for Taking It Deep with the Godfrey. Spread the word about Toxic. We would truly appreciate it. And, that's it. And this is the Godfrey, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.